Like,
Yeah, that's
all of
true.
them. All of them. Everybody, as soon as you're chatting in Twitch, you're challenger. That's how the rules are, right? So to make sure you do your daily chattings so you can claim your rank, because that's the Twitch law, right?
Yeah, 100%, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure if we did a poll right now, the average rank would be rank 1 challenger of Twitch chat.
I wish I could do a poll. That would be so fun. Just ask chat what rank are you, and then only have like 2 answers: challenger chatting, not challenger chatting. Gonna see where this one goes. But yeah, game number 6 has started. We're not gonna talk any more about Twitch chat shenanigans. We are in with Obu, Aurora, Yush, Kali, Tamura, Asha, Fire in My Lungs, and Fred, who are battling it out. And I'm just so happy for them to pick up some items, hopefully get some directions. We can already see that Silas on Asha's bench is always really, really nice unit to start off.
Yeah, it gives you often can give you some direction, right? If you want to play mages, it's definitely a good unit to have there. It can also be used for whispers, but with the big nerfs to Zyra, we're not seeing that quite as much. I think we've discussed that, before, that you definitely do tend to go into Siphon and into Xiaoyu rather than going into the full whispers vertical, where Silas previously would have been a good option for.
Yeah, that's true. So Silas has lost a little bit of that trait. Prismatic?
Hey!
Prismatic. Let's go. Ducky was wrong. I was right. We are getting prismatic first augments here in our last lobby of the day. And here you really have to think about what you're going to do, right? It could give you so much direction. And it's going to be a reroll for Esha. Does not want to go with the birthday present. His birthday was yesterday. That's over now. Going to go with the Herbs grab back.
I reckon that was a rage reroll, honestly. I reckon he saw that. He was like, it's not my birthday today. And then was like, just got too angry and pressed the reroll button. Yeah, okay. So he's going to go for that. Might have the option to go Dragon Mancer, right? We saw he had the Karma there. Maybe that's where you want. We were talking before about what are the real options you can go with Spatula, and it kind of feels like, you've got Cavalier, you've got Dragon Mancer, Swift Shot, I suppose. If you're starting out early, can be okay. And here we go, scoped weapons for Kade, and the Yone, and the Gwinsus.
Okay, listen. If any player in this lobby deserves to get the scope weapons, it is Kade, who was knocked out with a Dragonmancer Aushin by a Yoni 2 on scope weapons earlier today. I feel this is only fair. This is karma going around and giving Kade what he wanted earlier on. But there are so many other augments that we need to talk about. Mage Crown being picked up by 2 players. We have Level Up by Yush, which in the long run is going to be so impactful. And then on top of that, Mirage is just coming in. That's going to be Electric Overload, which is also pretty attractive to players. So already so many options. Got to make sure you're not getting dizzy now.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a couple of players take Level Up as their 3rd augment, right? And I guess you can sort of consider it as like, it's almost like a late game specialist kind of pick, just even if you don't go to 10, it makes your level 9 a little bit cheaper. But at that point, do you really want the power of a silver augment for a prismatic augment? No. But getting it at 2-1, that's crazy. That definitely opens up options for you that way. The fact that we've got 2 people taking Mage Crown is kind of interesting. Because Nomzi is a Voker, it's not a Mage Nomzi. So that means your options are what? You've got Lagoon, which obviously we've seen do a little bit better today. Or you've got Astral, which I think we've only seen, 1 or maybe 2. It's just certainly once on broadcast in terms of the Astral reroll so far this tournament.
Okay, I am really, really interested in where these mages go, because I am with you. I think we've seen the Lagoon comp, and I just want to have someone go for that Astral. I really like the Astral reroll. That's probably because I like rerolling. I'm going to be honest about that, but From what I've seen so far, we're not really on an astral angle for any of these players where that would be the case. Gonna meet with one of them now. There's a Vladimir and a Skarner and a Varus. Okay, fire in my lungs. Could go for that astral reroll, technically.
Yeah, especially with that Varus. That is a big bump to your board, right? Like in early game. It takes you from being... we were calling it open fort in the last game, right, where they were playing Astrals basically in stage 2. But if you have the Silas, it just all of a sudden gives you so much frontline that either your Varus or the Lux can do the damage from the backline, and also opens up both 3 and 5 mage a lot earlier with a strong board.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to go into first Carousel. Kade, of course, scope weapons unit with that Rage Blade is just 100 HP. That's going to be a trend. We're going to keep an eye on that. But the rest of the lobby has to deal with it. And that's going to change the tempo once more. As every time you're going to fight against Kade, you're probably going to be on the losing end of this. So players are going to drop in HP a lot more than they would in a different setting.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts that he got all 3 of those components to start with. And by components, I don't mean, like, the item components. I mean, one, yes, the item components, the Gwynce's Rage Blade, but also the Augment and the Yone. Yeah, look, a very high roll, to say the least. We did just see Escher pick up another spat. I'm not sure if he'd slammed the first one or not. So this could be a very early Tactician's Crown for Escher. He has slammed the Dragon Mancer spat. Okay, so this opens up immediately. Opens up 8 Dragon Mancer.
Give me the Dragon Mancers. I'm so happy. Let's go. I love this. This is really, really great. I mean, we know, okay, scope weapons, Yoni, yes, that's a thing in this lobby, but that Dragon Mancer board just gives me so much joy. I would be so happy to see it once more, so... Gonna see how that one plays out here as we meet with Fred, who's also on the Mage Crown and now also on at least 3 Astrals. Has only 1 stars as of right now, but is Seraphine on top of that, who's providing substantial amounts of healing or shielding rather to the team. Not gonna be enough here as the Dragon Mancer Nunu, I thought we got rid of that one, comes back to haunt us.
Yeah, it could be a little bit of a transition here. But yeah, as we saw in that fight, makes its Electric Overload for the Mirage variation this game. And that just, it's such a good splash. Like, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows, because when that patch was happening, it's all you saw basically every single game. So you kind of had a bit of experience with all the different types of Dragon Mancer Nunus. But the Electric Overload one was quite tough because, you want to stack the big health items on him, stuff like the Warmogs that he's got right here, as well as all of that extra maximum health you're getting out of the Dragon Mancer buff, just means the Electric Overload damage coming out of him is pretty huge. But talking about huge damage, here's that Yone.
Yeah. I mean, really, what else can you say? The Volibear is not going to stop this Yone. Nothing can. As of right now, it's still Yone 1 and it's just doing so much damage. So, really, really crazy. Keep in mind, Kade and Escher, we talked about it earlier, they are now meeting in reverse roles. So in that prismatic lobby that we saw Ducky and Chaos cast earlier today, It was Kade who was on 8 Dragon Mancer Ao Shin, it was Escher who had that scope weapons prismatic Yone 2. And now they just completely switched boards. So really curious if the end is going to play out the same way with the scope weapons on top. I would assume that yes, but gonna see how that one plays out for you guys as we go into the crux.
Oh, there's a long road before we get to there, makes so many things could happen. Will we get, more prismatic augments like we saw in that game? Will the items go their way? Will they find the Aoshin too? Depends how many people go for those dragon boards. We've certainly seen a lot of people fail to get there in the past with that as well. Windfall as a first augment for Obo here is an interesting choice. I always look at that one on 2-1 and think, surely this is, is going to be too hard to play when everyone else is, when you have people up a combat augment against you and a prismatic one at that, I find it quite tough to take. But Obo thinking that's the choice here.
Well, Genome, would you rather have nothing or would you rather have eggs? Because our chat has a very clear opinion on that one, as our egg giveaway is currently live, !egg in chat to take part and maybe cash out just like Obo did. And I personally don't really like Windfall, but you know, the Prismatic Windfall just gives you a little bit of extra on top of that, and we're going to do the same thing. There will be 5 winners for this egg giveaway as opposed to the one that we had before. So this one is, you know, if you're not hopping into this one, it's your own fault.
Very generous from right there. Meanwhile, the augment's slightly less generous. We've gone back down into
come on.
The grey tier,
I tried to ignore them.
The silver tier, unfortunately. We had another recombobulator there, which, honestly, I'm almost kind of surprised that Obo didn't take that, because if you look at his board, he's got 2 4-costs, a bunch of other upgraded units. Like, that could potentially have been a recombobulator option, but this one is a recombobulator option. Tamura, you know, he doesn't balk this time.
I don't want to be rude, okay? But that is the saddest recombobulator I've ever seen.
Oh,
there is no legendary, there's no dragon, it's just basic units. Nothing else.
Well, it's an econ augment then. Alright, it's an econ angle.
I mean, yes, the Pantheon 2 items is nice. It gives you a little bit of extra strength, but I want to see a Dragon's get transformed. I want to see those 5 legendaries come through. If you have, if he had that Pantheon going into the recombobulator, it could have been a Zoe 2, could have been a Yasuo 2, Bar 2, something that's really, you know, Pog. But this way around, it's going to be like an okay for me.
All right, I don't know how many games you're walking into 3-2 with a 2-star 4-cost makes.
Well,
but...
of course that not, but you said it yourself. We did have 2 4-costs on a different board where the recombobulator wasn't picked up.
Yeah, I mean, looking at how Fire in My Lungs took a big L in the last round, I think the Panth 2 is nothing to sneeze at this early in the game, and you know, potentially gives them some direction as well, right? You stack some stuff on the Panth too. Yeah. You can think about moving into Soy Siphon. You know, probably the best user of Pantheon, I would say, at the moment, and obviously a decent comp overall.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, it's not terrible, but when I see Recombobulator, I always want to see the really exciting transformations.
Yeah.
Even though Pants 2 is nice, it's nothing that's like, for me at least, nothing that's super exciting. But Esha still has another spat on that bench here. I would love to see where this one is going, and if that could be another Dragonmancer emblem going into this carousel. So we're gonna keep our eyes open to see where this one goes.
So we just go on the font angle? We just go on D-Mancer into... Oh, we're going 3 D-Mancer spats. Okay. Straight for the spat.
No,
so
it's fun.
Yeah, that of course is the other spat that he had, you know, earlier. It was the one on his bench. But, like, 8 Dragonmancers is so strong, though, right? So, like, do you want to give up that extra... I'm not sure if the 1 extra slot is necessarily worth the buff to 8 Dragonmancer, because you can't get there without the second spat, right?
You know, it would be really funny. He's gonna slam that fun, but it would be really funny if he just held on to 2 spats and make like 3 Dragonmancer emblems. Of course, that's not what's gonna happen. But I would have loved to Esha be like, you know, that's not where we're going. We're gonna go straight into Dragonmancers. But the Fawn just providing that little bit upper hand. So Esha will lose less HP in those middle rounds now just by having that Fawn and being a little bit stronger on board than the other players. That could help in securing one of those top spots, because even though you need to get into late game, find that Aoshin to really make Dragonmancers come online, you still have Kade up there, right? We're in 3-5, he has scope weapons, he has the Yoni. maybe Yone 2 by now, I'm not sure. And a Rage Blade on top of that, and he hasn't lost yet, and he's not looking to do that in the next couple of rounds either. So you need to kind of count your horses, make sure that you're getting into those top 4 now.
Meanwhile, Escher having a scout out of Fire in My Lungs here, and he's probably shaking his head because, you know, Fire in My Lungs is doing the same Evoker Mage Spat Nomsy build that Escher did yesterday and went 8th with. There is the answer to your question, Makes, and the answer is that Yone with Scoped Weapons 2 is completely bloody broken because he's still Yone 1 and he's still on a 100 health win streak.
Yeah, that's just, you know, the beauty of Scoped Weapons for you. We are only 1 Yone short of the Yone 2, and I'm thinking it will be very hard to stop that Scoped Weapon train from rolling around this lobby, so it will be really, really crazy to watch that one play out. But there is another fun thing on Yush's board, who has equipped the Kaisa to 3 items currently, and is of course on the level up angle. So currently really healthy in terms of gold, has over 50, and is looking to just make sure to get to 9 and then 10.
Yep. Need to keep that train rolling. There's the Yone 2 though. And that certainly is going to make this board even more indomitable than it has already been.
Yeah, sure, because why not, right? And like at this point, Kade could probably go AFK and get a couple of tea or something. That would still be fine. So hopefully not gonna drop off here, but it's gonna pick up a few more items from these PvE rounds as we are getting closer and closer to the last augment, and I want this one to be prismatic again. But Fire in My Lungs is hitting that Nomsy too, so that could be interesting. Looks 2 now also being found by Fire in My Lungs, and Escher is on that Lee Sin too. I wouldn't mind a 1-kick man in the last game of the day either.
Yeah, we're still searching for that one. Looks like Kade's actually dropped the Jade out here just to push to 4 Warrior for Bruiser. We've got to remember when we saw this work for... who was on the other side of it last time? Yeah, when it was Kade running it, right? He had 6 Warrior. And of course that is a big spike in terms of how much damage that does. The stun here is going to keep the Dragonmancer Nunu at bay just long enough. Nothing can break through the front line of this comp to find that Yone.
Yes!
And ooh, we get the second prismatic. Okay, High Roller here is interesting because obviously he's pushed past. He didn't go for the reroll angle, trying to look for that Yone 3. And now with High Roller, he could potentially help that. Actually, opts to reroll.
Dragon Soul? I mean, you don't go Dragon Soul when you have scope weapons, right? You have the Yone, you have everything. Can't be the Dragon Soul, but it could be a Dragon Angle for another player. If everything, what I'm hearing is correct, we have a player that picked up the Cursed Crown.
Ooh.
I'm curious to see that, because at this point, some of them have already bled a lot. And that could be scary, scary territory.
Very, because look, he's already... I mean, here's one player at least who's already got a bunch of those dragons up and running. Of course, this isn't the one that picked up Cursed Crown, but... oh, man. Yeah, look, 2... is that... Oh, no, sorry, that was... I was wondering if the Gargoyles were both on the Terror there, but... you know, he does have that Warmogs, which is not a bad defensive item for the frontliner. The Aoshin online as well. At 4-2, having this many dragons is kind of nuts, but of course he is at level 9 because, of course, he does have the 2-1 level up.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, I was hoping Yush was going to pick up the Cursed Crown, but went with Exiles instead. I respect it. I would have liked to see the 6 dragons come out, give us one big roar for game number 6 of this day, but okay, we're gonna keep that one in the tank for tomorrow. Changing the script right now, and hopefully we're gonna see 6 dragons on day number 3. Shouldn't be the case here, it seems like. Now, I'm just looking at the other augments that have come in, notably Esha, who was on that Dragonmancer angle, right? Had 2 spats, actually 3, made a Fawn, made a Dragonmancer emblem, and is running Electric Overload Dragonmancer Nunu, last time we checked. Has picked up high-end shopping, so that could be a very interesting choice as well.
Yeah, you're right. Could be interesting to see if we get some 3 stars out of that, or potentially moving in a different direction. Woodland Charm, I think, has been a very good augment since they made the changes to it in this set. And we see that duplicating the Pantheon there. Both of them just wailing away at the dragons on the front line here. Both of them not dying. And that's going to be a big win there for Tamura, who streaks up it into second place. Kade finally taking his first loss. Esha is on second pick now. So the 4th spatula.
Esha,
and it's on a Lee Sin as well. He's gone for it. He's gone for the 4th spatula.
Spatula. Holy, that is so crazy.
Look, I'm gonna have to give you a little bit of OCE TFT history here.
Okay.
Makes, and that's to say that this is only half the amount of spatulas of the most exciting spatula game we ever saw. You might have seen when we were trying to look for the subs, because I think there was one player that couldn't make it, and we were looking for some subs. Donaldinho was on the list, was on the short list of who might have made it into this tournament. And of course, my favorite game ever to cast was 4 Fondoni, where he ended up. This is of course back in the days where it was the force of nature, and he ended up with 4 Fonds in one game. But you know what? If we're getting a Tactician's Ground and 2 Dragonmancer spats, I reckon that's not too bad either.
That's really, really great. On top of that, having the high-end shopping, just allowing him to get a little bit of access to those legendary units faster. Now, I am very curious to see where this board is going to go once we hit level 9, and still a little bit away as Esha just hit level 8, but that will be one board that definitely I want to see make it that far. We can see the enemy Ao Shin from Yush is just doing so much damage. I don't think it will be enough for the Nunu to chew through that Terra. It's just too beefy. Ao Shin providing too much sustain from the backline, but we're going to go into Treasure Drake in one more round, and Esha should either way make it to that dragon and be able to get that Dragonmancer emblem from it.
Yeah, he'll just get there. You can see him shifting around, putting a Soraka in. That means he's obviously a little bit worried about how much health he's got left and how much he can take into it. But as you say, 22 health, that'll be enough to ensure he sees that. And hopefully he can just keep rolling until he finds the... Help me out here. Is it Rod? I think you need to make the Dragonmancer emblem. So I'm sure you'll be able to find that. Yeah, I was doing it too, but I've tried to put that behind me. I've tried to, I've been to therapy.
Nah.
I'm just trying to forget those memories about the terrible days where you could only go Dragonmancer Nunu or bottom 4.
Honestly, like, TFT players in general always talk about like past broken comps with so much pain, and I'm just like, yeah, was there. I use that one. Yeah. I think it's hilarious. But I might be the minority with that one. Now, right, slowly
you're
but
a
surely,
sadist. Noted.
We are approaching the Treasure Dragon, and that's usually where the first players are starting to struggle. We have Esha, who's on that Dragonmancer spat angle, Chaos Dragon coming through. On 17 HP, and Fred on 12. Both of them need to find something. And yeah, sure. Sure.
I'm sorry.
Show.
I'm sorry.
It's another spatula.
Okay, alright. So now at this point, yeah, okay, there we go. He's going to answer it immediately. It's the second Fon. And he's got high-end shopping as well. Right, yeah. So he's level 8. He's got 17% chance to hit the... Okay, he's gone for the Jace. Interesting. And he did get a champ duplicator as well. So he's finally gone off the Nunu, because as you can see, that was falling off, right?
So the thing is, what you would want to see here, right? 2 Fons, you have the possibility to go 6 dragons. A problem is, high-end shopping, yes, we have a Bard also. we don't have gold. We need to go somewhere with this. And Asha needs to survive to actually turn this board into a 6-dragon board. Because that's definitely your win condition here, right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything you said just then. It's going to be really tough. I mean, he's found the Yasuo, right? So he's got all of the other components to this, but you know, sure, is adding a couple of other, like, you know, piddly little units, is that really going to help you out that much? Because 6 Dragon Mancer, the buff, it's okay. It's not amazing, and you can see why, because he's dying to a 2-star, 2-cost unit.
Okay, to be fair, he's dying to Yoni, to scope weapons, with a crazy board. So, no shame here. Fred actually getting knocked out 8th. Esha does survive, has the Soraka in. So the potential is there to actually turn this one around. Another Soraka in shop. There's an Aurelion Soul as well. We're probably gonna, sell off the Jace, slot in the A-Soul. It's not gonna do much. It's 8 Soul 1. But for now, that will be something. Terra in the shop as well. Come on, buy it. What?
Oh, he's trying to work out his angles here. He's got that champ duplicator, right? He sells... I mean, I was like, okay, you know, surely he was going to be thinking about maybe having the Yasuo too, but he's really just finding he needs a holder. I'm not sure if he even got the full 10 units on the board there. He is so struggling to work out what's going here. Certainly didn't get the time to use that champ duplicator. There was the loaded dice on the side as well. I mean, he has everything there. There's 3 items. There's 3 items he's not using right now, Megs.
That was... You know, we said it before. He didn't have the time and money to actually turn this one around. That was so devastating to watch. He couldn't apply that Dragon Mancer buff to one of the Dragon Mancers. The game had already started. And that's just devastating. At this point, when you're playing Dragon Mancers and this happens, you know you're like down bad. So, yeah. I think that's just where Asha was going with this. He knew he didn't have the chance to turn this around with that roll down, gave up. But somebody else that is not giving up is Yush, just finding that Terra 2 on this dragon board here. Now, this board had the potential to go for 6 dragons also, but we're not going to hold that against Yush for now. It's going to be the Aurelion Soul getting picked up here and fully itemized.
Not looking too bad at all. He's even got a second A-Soul in the shop there. Oh man, that was a little hard to watch, honestly. That last fight with Escher. A little bit sad. Unfortunately, 2 Fons not enough. Need 4 Fons to guarantee you the wins these days. It's just how high roll these lobbies are. We've got a Som on the backside. Doesn't have blue buff, but doesn't need it, of course, because he has the blue battery too. That's a big high roll. Allows you to put that 3rd damage item on top of your Som, but it's not enough. That said, you know, it's gotten Aurora into a decent spot there, sitting at 30 health still at 5-3.
Yeah, a fire in my lungs, and now down there as well. Both of them will get a pick of this dragon carousel coming through at 5-4 here for us, and that one could be very, very interesting. I said it to Ducky going into this game. This will be very entertaining. He said we're going to get silver god augments. I just want to say once more, I was right, he was wrong, and we are in this dragon carousel. And I believe with Yush's pickup there on that Aurelion Soul, he will have Aurelion Soul too. Yeah, just coming in on the right side. Tamura now also hitting level 9 together with Kade. Everybody's just accelerating at this point.
Yeah, I looked away to check the augments for a second. I was trying to work out if Kade picked up that the Thieves' Gloves that were on the carousel, because he was the one who picked Lucky Gloves for this final game of day 2, so that could have been a big buff to him. You know, counting as, of course, 2 very good items if you can get that online. Oh man, Woodland Charm, of course, that's a fantastic augment if you're going dragons. You get, you know, you duplicate kind of 2 units essentially worth
that's
of,
a double
of
siphon
goodness
this time
rather
around.
than 1. Yeah, a Siphon. It is usually Siphon, I feel, because of course he's got the Bruiser buff, which doubles for himself. But
Look at the damage. Oh.
see, and you were having to go with the Pantheon, man. You were having to go with the Pantheon, but he's proved his worth throughout this game.
Karma. I guess that's karma. Chat was saying, I don't know this game too, so I guess chat was right after all. That's, you know, Twitch chat for you. But I still think the Recombobulator was not as exciting as it could have been. It was a good unit. It was not as exciting as it could have been. But something that is exciting is a Fire in My Lungs port, because what are you doing here? Like, that Zoe, great. You would love to have Zoe too. You don't have gold, right? That's your kind of win condition to be a little bit stronger here. We had Evoker Nomsy. We turned it into Mage Nomsy by force. So that gives us a little bit of extra power to have those 5 mages enabled. But he's going to meet Yush. Yush has built out Exile Dragons. These are super beefy, and that is going to be a problem. 1 level ahead of Fire in My Lungs as well. That is going to be the end for Fire in My Lungs. Unfortunately, this board cannot compete with these dragons here. Aurelion Soul will ult once more. Fire in My Lungs getting knocked out 6 here. Now we start to worry a little bit about Aurora here, who's down to 9 HP.
Can I just say, that was the most godly target dummy I have ever seen in my life. It managed to draw the aggro of the Zoe and get 4 tornado casts, like they were half off the board and targeting basically none of his team for the attack speed buff and basically none of the opposition team for the CC. Because it was just going all onto this this one target dummy that wasn't dying off to the side.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate, but hopefully something that is fortunate is that little treasure goblin that's now coming in, giving players some extra items here. That Ionic will be really good if you can find something like a Shyvana, basically Biz there. So maybe where we're going with this, gonna check out what Obo is looking for. Can put another unit in now that we've hit level 10. It's going to be the Soraka and the Rakan for now to build out the 3 Mystics together with the Bard, but still has a little bit of gold to turn some more things around on this one.
Level 10, 30% chance of hitting a legendary 5-cost unit at that point, and of course he has the Bard in, I think as you mentioned, so you know, that's increasing those even more if we get further and further into this game. This time it's the matchup between Aurora and I think that was Tamura, our top player in the lobby. This Som with the 3 damage items kind of popping off here. Meanwhile, Zoe putting out all the utility to buy Som that time to do the damage. Gets the Siphon before it can get that chomp off on the backline. Now Terra's rolling into this. That one spot in the side, I guess, is that why it dodged the ASOL ult?
Yeah.
I thought the ASOL ult hit, or was it the Divine Intervention from the Zoe? Because I thought the ASOL, like, once...
It was Zoe.
Yeah, right.
It was Zoe. Zoe stopped him and saved him there. Divine Intervention coming in clutch on that Zome. But the Zome also being able to knock out the Aurelion Soul before it could cast once more when that Divine Intervention wasn't there anymore. It was just really, really scary. So now needs to look out where we're going. Could meet Obo, could meet Yush, if I see that correctly. So that's going to be a dragon board in your face regardless. And that could be the end of it. There's an Aurelion Soul on the enemy backline as well as the Bard. So both of them will target the back.
And you can see that time it manages to get the Zoe that's itemized, that has all of the you know, the attack speed items there that's helping it pump out that utility. More going down, but the Som is still alive, so maybe a little bit of hope. Now you can see the extended range and damage of that ASOL damage coming through, and Aurora doesn't have quite enough of those Zoe ults to last him throughout the game. He's going to go out in 5th.
That was really, really sad to watch, but on the positive side of things, we are down to our top 4 players, and Yush has been piloting this one really, really well. Also, Kade, in case you weren't here when this game started, has picked up scoped weapons as a prismatic and is on that Yone train for now. has been doing really well with it, but Tamura has been dethroning Kade, so about 20 HP ahead. That's pretty significant if you are running scope weapons, so should check in with whatever Kade is doing in a little bit, but right now we're going to see the damage overalls on the right side of the screen, and just wait for these dragons to actually get their casts out. That Ao Shin is just charging up. In comes the lightning rain, and you can see how that damage bar just moves on up, but it's not enough against the enemy board, and I think Obu is going to get knocked out here with the 4th place as Yush manages to survive.
All right, well, as this carousel comes out, we get the dragon carousel once again. Just give you guys a quick update on, some of the player
carousel.
Scores
Sure.
going through this. We've had Fred and we've had Aurora knocked out already. They're probably still through to day 3 because they had, a great rest of the day. So they're probably fine. Escher likely out. I think almost certainly at this point he was in the bottom 8 coming into our game 6 here. Fire in my lungs. He was on 25 points. So was Obo. So those guys are probably going to have to wait to see how this plays out. I'd say they're going to be on the cusp. Yush, however, he was a bit lower on 22, so he needs to do really well from this position.
Now, and you're saying something very important there. Yush is on 3 HP. That's not a lot to work with to do well here. So with that level to 10 that Yush has, that is the best chance of things to go here, really. Let's have a look at the backline, and if that Bard and the Assault can do it once more. But the Woodland Charm, it's really, really strong from Tamura. The Terras are just being a real terror in this game here. And the Assault is charging up once more, trying to knock out everything he can. But he's the last one standing together with this dummy. Will not get that cast through. And Yush will get knocked out 3rd here.
Man, that's going to be tough. So Yush in 3rd, he'll pick up 6 points, and that'll move him up to 28, which means he's probably in with a chance, but it will be very close. Now, we've got our final 2 players in the lobby, Tamura versus Kade. Decent itemization. We've got this target dummy that has just been absolutely goated so far. Actually one on both sides at the moment. And as you say, the Woodland Charm. And I'm really liking the RFC on the Siphon as well. I feel like, sometimes it'll go for the charge, and it can just end up anywhere and be a little bit inconsistent. RFC really helps.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, for sure. Also, just being able to really target cornered units. If there's 2 Terras in front of you, you cannot get past this as a Siphon, but it could be the end for Kade here. Just looking at this board, Tamura's Assault is charging once more, and it's all eyes on the Pantheon that the Recombobulator brought. It's not enough. Tamura takes the win in game number 6 of that day. GG's. Kade also had a beautiful run with those scope weapons, but